Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's June REC release webinar. My name is Jenny, and I'll be facilitating today's event. And today I'm joined by Francine, one of the change analysts here at the Code Manager. And just before we get started, I just want to do some housekeeping with you all. So the recording will be available on the REC portal later this week. The slides were already made available prior to today's webinar. We'll also be using Slido for a Q&A. So if you have any questions at any point, just pop them into Slido. The QR code, the joining code are both on the screen now. There's a tab at the top of this meeting that you can use as well. And I'll also pop a link in the chat. So if you have any questions at any point, just pop them into Slido. And just while people are joining Slido, I'll share the agenda with you all today. And without further ado, I will pass over to Francine.
Thank you very much, Jenny, and good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Francine Perosi-Soko. I'm change analyst with the REC Manager, and I'm here today to run through the upcoming June 2026 release. We've got about 13 change proposals that are being implemented as part of the release on the 26th of June 2026. And then we'll cover the post-implementation support that is available to you as well. As Jenny mentioned, we also have a Q&A session at the end, and you can use Slido throughout the presentation. Thanks, Jenny. So we've got 13 change proposals for this June release. I'll run through an overview of all of them today. You can see them on the screen. We'll go through the solution that is being implemented, the benefits that market participants will be able to see, impacted REC products, and also impacted stakeholders. As you can see on the left-hand side, we've broken them by theme once again. So we've got one change that's a metering change, three that are market messages changes, one technical change, one cross-code change, 6 governance changes, and last but not least, we'll go through the housekeeping change as well. Like I said, and like Jenny said, if you have any questions throughout this webinar, please use Slido and we'll do our best to respond to your questions at the end. So if we go on to the metering change, this is R0267 smart meter installation surveys microbusiness requirements. This has been submitted to the authority for approval on the 7th of April of this year, and we're expecting a response on the 29th of June. Subject to approval, it'll be implemented into the June release. So just to give you a bit of a summary, R0267 introduces a minimum threshold of 1,000 microbusiness installations in 1 year. This was raised by a non-domestic energy supplier over the differences in obligations on sending the smart meter installation survey to domestic and micro-business consumers. And this change proposal is linked to I0189, Voice of the Consumer, which was looking at potential changes to the SMIS. We chose to progress R0267 independently to I0189, which has been resolved at the end of February of this year. So the solution for this change proposal is to amend the Appendix 20 of ComCop to introduce a minimum threshold for 1,000 microbusiness smart meter installations in 1 year before energy suppliers are obligated to send the SMIS. And this is similar to the minimum threshold of 5,000 domestic smart meter installations in 1 year already in place. In terms of benefits, it will provide a cost reduction for energy suppliers planning fewer than 1,000 smart meter installations in 1 year on microbusiness premises. It will also remove an obligation, which is currently disproportionate for smaller energy suppliers. And finally, it will align obligation between the domestic and micro-business markets. We've got one impacted product for this one, which is COMCOP, Consolidated Metering Code of Practice, and impacted stakeholders are energy suppliers. Now onto the market messages changes. First, we've got R0276, Supply Fault Information Center to Crowd Meter Room MEM, missing scenario variance in D0126 MM16. So this was approved by the REC Technical Expert Panel on the 17th of December 2025, and it incorporates the scenario variant of Supply Fault Information Center to Crowd Meter Room MEM in the D126 MM16 Asset Condition Report Response Clearance market message. This should have been introduced as part of REC Change R43, commissioning of works by the Crowded Meter Room Coordinator to resolve issues in crowded meter rooms, which introduced the role of the CMRM and was implemented on the 28th of June 2024. So the solution for this change is to include the SFIC to CMRM in the D126 MM16 Asset Condition Report Response Clearance Market Message, so that SFIC can send a response on the DI26 MM16 market message to confirm the outcome of their investigation. In terms of benefit, this change proposal will allow the SFIC to be fully compliant with its obligation, and it will also avoid delays to work at consumer sites. In terms of impacted products, we've got one, which is a data specification, and in terms of impacted stakeholders, we've got CMRMs, SFIC, and DNOs. Now on to the next market message change. We've got R0300 amendment to D312 to align with CP 1622. So this was approved by the REC Technical Expert Panel on the 29th of April 2026, and it corrects D312 notification of meter information to MPAS MM256 marker message to allow the data item rule regarding the number of displayed registered digits in line with the BSC CP 1622. So Elexon raised CP 1622 to amend the validation rules within the supplier meter registration service for the number of registered digits data item within the IF5 marker message to allow digit values from 5 to 7, ensuring accurate data and reducing exceptions. No validation rules related to D312 need to be amended under the BSC. However, the D312 itself contains a data item rules, which needs amending in line with CP 1622, hence the change. So the solution for this is to amend the data item rule for the number of displayed registered digits within the D312 marker message. And in terms of benefits, this change proposal will increase data accuracy. It will enable a smoother MHHS migration. It will also reduce energy supplier queries, and finally, it will provide consistency across energy codes. Excuse me. In terms of impacted products, we also only have one here, which is the data specification. And in terms of impacted stakeholders, we've got the electricity suppliers, electricity retail data agents, and meter operator agents. On to our next market messages change. We've got R0310, addition of value 11 to data item J418. So this was approved by the REC Technical Expert Panel on the 29th of April 2026. And it introduces the value 11, COP11, to the valid set of data item J418 meter COP, as the current valid set for data item J418 is currently missing value 11. The solution is therefore to add value 11, COP 11, to the valid set of data item DI 50193 meter COP J418. And this will have the following benefits. It will deliver positive indirect outcomes for parties by providing the means to accurately update the meter technical details when needed. So in terms of impacted products, we've got one, which is the data specification catalog. And in terms of impacted stakeholders, we've got data collectors and metering equipment managers. We now have a technical change. I believe Jenny, oh, thank you. Yes, perfect. So this is R0299, the data latency targets for the GES service definition. It was approved by the REC Technical Expert Panel on the 25th of March 2026. And R0299 adds service level performance targets to the gas inquiry service definition to align to the expected performance by the GS provider. This was raised by RECO to support the changes made under R0277, data latency SLA alignment for gas inquiry, which was implemented in February of 2026, and to provide a suitable percentage SLA target for the GS provider to meet these measures. So in terms of the solution, is to update, to provide updates to the relevant service levels, which are captured in section 8.55A and 8.5B of the GS service definition, with an added percentage targets of 98% and 99% respectively. In terms of benefits, this change proposal will ensure that the GS service provider does not incur additional costs in the running of GES. And for impacted products, we've got GES service definition, GES user guide. And for impacted stakeholders, we've got GES service provider and GES users. We can now go on to the cross-code change, which is R0308, update cross-code steering group terms of reference to include cross-code prioritization as per code reform. So this was approved by the REC Change Panel on the 5th of May 2026, and it ensures that the cross-code steering group terms of reference reflects the new standardization of the prioritization approach that has been set up by Ofgem across energy codes as part of code reform. The solution is to introduce a new clause into the cross-code steering group terms of reference to detail the changes for prioritization set up by Ofgem, and this is a consequent change to R0304, implementation of Ofgem-led code modification prioritization within the REC. This change proposal will support the REC's ability to operate consistently within a reformed code governance framework. So in terms of impacted products, we've got the cross-code steering group terms of reference, and in terms of impacted stakeholders, the cross-code steering group members. We now have a few governance changes. We'll start with R0291, the review of Schedule 1 interpretations and definitions. So this was approved by the REC Change Panel on the 21st of April 2026, and it clarifies the defined terms and definitions in Schedule 1. And this is thanks to feedback that was provided by parties when they found different difficulties on Schedule 1. So thank you very much for your input. With the solution for this one is to amend different legal texts. The REC main body, clause 2.5, Schedule 1 interpretations and definitions, the clause 2.4, with the removal, addition or amendment of specific terms. And finally, Schedule 25, central switching service, clause 2.3. With the benefits of this change proposal is that it will improve accuracy of the REC and it will also reduce confusion for market participants. Impacted products are the different legal texts I mentioned, so the REC main body, Schedule 1 and Schedule 25. And for impacted stakeholders, it is all REC parties. We now have R0286, clarification on detailed impact assessment activities. So this was approved by the REC change panel on the 20th of January 2026. And R0286 formalized the responsible committee's approval of a change to release funds for the lead service provider to complete design upfront as part of the preliminary impact assessment. This approach was trialed with R80, improvement to failed to deliver CSS messages, which was successfully implemented in June 2025. So the code manager engaged with service providers to review detailed impact assessment prior to the change being raised. In terms of the solution for this change proposal, there will be a new clause added to Schedule 5 change management, and this is to establish a new approach with the lead service provider completing design upfront as part of the preliminary impact assessment. In terms of its benefits, it will improve visibility and quality surrounding complex technical changes. It will improve clarity within the design of a change. It will improve accuracy and timelines within the change process. And finally, it will improve cost effectiveness surrounding the activities in the change process. So it's Schedule 5 change management, which is impacted here. And in terms of impacted stakeholders, all REC parties and all service providers. Now on to R0316, clarification to data items within payment method levelization supplier data reporting. So this was approved by the authority on the 19th of May 2026. And R0316 clarifies the definition of primary meter points to avoid inconsistent data submission and consequential variation in the allocation of payment method levelization scheme debits and credits. The solution is to amend Appendix 1 of Schedule 31 to correctly label the data items as per RECO engagement with Ofgem. And there will also be one definition added into Schedule 1 for unrelated metering point. In terms of the benefits of R0316, it will improve clarity on energy supplier obligations in the PML scheme and also ensures accurate and aligned reporting across the PML scheme. In terms of the impacted products, it will be Schedule 1, interpretations and definitions, and Schedule 31, payment method levelization reconciliation. For the impacted stakeholders, it will be energy suppliers. Now we've got R0319, which is clarification of in-year amendments to the CRS budget. So this was approved by the REC change panel on the 19th of May 2026. And R0319 removes the requirement to raise a change proposal to facilitate an in-year reduction to the centralized registration service budget. And this is because requiring change proposal to be raised in that context diverts costs and resources from the code manager, service provider, and REC parties. So the solution for R0319 is to amend the REC main body, clauses 9.33 and 9.34, and this is to clarify that in-year adjustments to the budget within the limits defined in the approved budget, including forecast underspend, can be approved by RECO in accordance with clause 9.11. So in terms of the benefits, this change proposal will improve the operational efficiency of the REC change process, and it will also improve legal clarity of the REC. For the impacted product, we've got one, and this is the REC main body. And for impacted stakeholders, it will be the CRS provider. Now we've got R037, release and licensing of the ComCop logo for accredited parties. So this was approved by the REC change panel on the 21st of April 2026. And it seeks to release and make available the ComCop logo to all eligible parties under a robust and well-governed licensing framework. This change proposal was raised by RECO following implementation of R0152, revision of the Consolidated Metering Code of Practice. The solution for this is to introduce 3 definitions in Schedule 1 interpretations and definitions, which are a ComCop logo trademark, ComCop logo and conflicting brand, and also to introduce ComCop logo requirements and a new Annex A ComCop logos in Schedule 15 metering accreditation. The benefits of this change proposal will be to provide market clarity and consistency, to improve consumer trust and confidence, to improve recognition and to provide incentive for accredited parties, and finally to mitigate reputational risk. The impacted products are Schedule 1, interpretations and definitions, and Schedule 15, metering accreditation. And in terms of impacted stakeholders, we've got AMR service providers and also metering equipment managers. I believe we've got our last governance change, which is R0311, COP 2-year audit cycles. So this was approved by the REC Metering Expert Panel on the 13th of May 2026. And it clarifies the information about periodic audits in Schedule 15 to ensure a consistent audit cycle across industry. So the solution for R0311 is to amend Schedule 15 to clarify the timeline and the type of periodic audits, to ensure that it is mentioned that there are both desktop and site audits, and that the first periodic audits will be carried out within 12 months after the initial accreditation, and that after that, each periodic audit will be carried out at least once every 24 months. The benefits of this change proposal is to provide clarity, to ensure operational practice is consistent and parties abide by the code, and also to provide clarity for an effective industries audit and assurance framework, which in turn should help enhance consumer protection. In terms of impacted products, we've got a Schedule 15, metering accreditations, and for impacted stakeholders, these are metering equipment managers and AMR service providers, And now, last but not least, we've got our housekeeping change, R0320, which was approved by the REC change panel on the 19th of May 2026. So this is our usual housekeeping change where the code manager is able to put through as part of the release, and this is to help ensure that REC documents provide accurate information, introduce any necessary clarification, are also grammatically correct, have the most up-to-date links, and correct any typos that there may be. So the solution for this, these are not non-material changes to REC products, but we've got typographical, grammatical, and formatting issues that are being corrected. But any amendments that are being made do not alter the intent nor the substance of the REC. And this is to provide clarity, consistency, and accuracy across the REC services and products, and it also to reduce the risk of misinterpretation of the code by REC parties. So in terms of impacted product for R0320, we've got the secure data exchange service definition, the standards definitions document, the ES API technical specification, and several schedules. Schedule 1, interpretations and definitions. Schedule 7, energy theft reduction. Schedule 11, prepayment arrangements. Schedule 12, data access. Schedule 17, secure data exchange. And finally, Schedule 31, payment method levelization reconciliation. So all REC parties are impacted stakeholders here, but like I said, these are non-material changes and they are just there to ensure REC products are an accurate reflection. So I think we've got the last of our 13 change proposals that are going to the REC release at the end of this month. And now we've got some post-implementation support for you. So we've got a few things that you can do if you've got any questions about this release. You can raise a service desk inquiry or email the inquiries mailbox that you can see on the screen. You can also contact your operational account manager. If you have an inquiry about a technical issue with the gas inquiry service portal, you can contact ExoServe. And finally, you can use the switching service management system to get help and support if you have any technical queries about switching. And if you do not have any of these emails or contact details, please let us know, but you can see them on the screen here. And just to flag before we go on to the Q&A, we will provide the latest version of the legal text and all the documents that will be amended as part of the release on the day of the release. So this will be on the 26th of June. And we'll also send out communications to confirm the release has been successfully implemented on the day. So you're aware. And that thinks that's everything that we've got on the release. But we've got Slido open if you have any questions. I don't know, Jenny, if you've seen anything during the webinar.
Nothing at the moment, Francine. I think we'll just leave the QR code on the screen there for a moment just to see if anything springs to mind and leave the floor open before we call it to a close.